Hi everyone, it's your girl Whitney Luna, and the topic of today is a little bit controversial. It is the occult back to Jesus, and my thoughts on the whole Kat Von D choice to become baptized, going to, switching to Christianity, turning away from the occult. And to be honest, her decision to do that is really not uncommon and really not strange to me. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding her. I want to put all that aside. I want to speak specifically on the spiritual, religious aspect of what's going on. And, it's funny because I've seen other occultists that are very much, they talk about God. They say that they use the power of God, that God gave them this gift to help heal the world or to help others that are struggling with their spirituality. And to be honest, I completely agree with that. I'm all for people choosing to do what they want when it comes to spirituality. I don't believe there's a right or wrong answer. If spirit says, you need to go to church on Sundays, but we still want you to read tarot, what's wrong with that? You're not hurting anybody. You're not hurting yourself. There's some of the best spiritualists I've met were very religious. We're going to church on Sundays. We're practicing each religious holiday, but they were heavy into tarot cards. They practiced rituals every once in a while. They did, crystal grids, all that stuff. I'm not saying every single spiritualist I've met was like that, but I have met some, and I don't see anything wrong with that. However, the topic of today is more so about people that turn away from the occult and go to organized religion. And I want to say that the occult and spirituality is not life on easy mode. I've said that in other videos. If you want to get into the occult and spirituality, it is not what Hollywood has led you to believe. It's not all crystals and, the pentagram and candles and just singing Kumbaya and dancing under a full moon. It is a lot of work. It is a lifestyle. For me, it is a whole lifestyle, from how I eat, how I sleep, the people I surround myself with. Like, it truly is a lifestyle. Because although, yes, I'm all for spirituality, you are a spiritual being. At the end of the day, you are a human being, and you need to remain grounded. And staying grounded includes aura cleanses, spiritual baths. Like I said, eating proper foods, really protecting your energy, understanding how you use your own energy when it comes to whether it's rituals, meditations, chakras, all that wonderful stuff that comes with spirituality. However, it does take work. And it does take self-reflection. And I can usually tell based on the questions that people ask me what level they're at. When someone comes to me and says, give me a book on spells, give me a spell to make this person fall in love with me, I can tell they're either a beginner or they don't take it very seriously. Because as you get deeper into spirituality, you realize love spells, why am I going to do a love spell when the universe purposely put this person out of my life? The universe showed me this is not the person for you. Why are you chasing after something that the universe has pushed out of your way? All right. I'll definitely do a video on love spells. But that's what I mean, is it really makes you look at the world differently. It makes you look at your own life, what you've attracted, certain things that you have attracted into your life, certain things that you need to heal in order to attract better situations into your life. Like, I'm not victim blaming. I'm not saying that things that you've been through was everything that you attracted. I'm just saying when you get into the occult and you do spells and you're wanting to attract a certain thing, you're just going to attract more of what you are if you have not healed those aspects of yourself. Now, when it comes to people getting into the occult and completely turning around and saying, this is not for me, more often than not, they've probably seen something, heard something, experienced something that just either, it could have scared them, or it just wasn't for them because it was too dark, or, because like I said, it takes work. You have to put in the work if you want to understand spirituality. Even if you want to get into crystal grids, even if you just want to, perform rituals, you want to work with deities, it takes work. You need to stay grounded in this reality. You need to, cleanse your energy. Like, there's so many different things that go into it. It's work. And when people get into it, sorry, there's like a motorcycle or something out there. When people get into this thinking that it's a game and they can have fun, they more often than not see something or experience something that terrifies them. There's also the other end of the coin, and this is going to make some people upset, is that, more often than not, a lot of people that are attracted to the occult have been through something in their life. They've been through some type of trauma, or maybe experienced abuse at a young age. Like, there's more often than not, that is the case. I'm not saying that with everybody, but oftentimes that is the case. It does, attract people with sometimes mental health problems that have gone unchecked. Not to offend anyone, not to attack that, because like I said, for many years in my life, like I said in previous videos, I struggled with depression, I struggled with anxiety. I've been through things in my life that just something about the occult really attracted me to it, especially because of, spiritual experiences I had as a child. Like, there's a slew of reasons why I was attracted to it and why others are attracted to it. But more often than not, I do notice that it does have people that kind of had a darker childhood. Nothing wrong with that. But like I said, you have to remain grounded. If there's parts of you that, are damaged and need to be healed, you need to heal that. You cannot get into this just thinking that, oh, I can do what I want. I can throw curses and spells and all this. You are going to go crazy, or it's just going to wreak more havoc into your life. You're going to attract, negative energies, entities, people, and you're going to get a very unhealthy idea of what the occult and spirituality is. My answer will always be the same when people come to me and say, how do I get into this? How do I get into spirituality? Start with shadow work. Start with understanding who you are, why you are here, what you've been through, past lives. Like, you really need to know yourself better than anything and anyone. I will always say that. But I also notice that in the occult, there is a lot of ego. There is a lot of people that will experience one minor thing, or they'll start having psychic dreams and they think that they know everything and that they're this crazy deity, they're a reincarnated God. And it's like, relax, relax. You got to stay grounded. You need to have a level of humility. You will never know everything. I will never know everything. We are constantly changing. We are constantly evolving, but you need to stay grounded and you need to constantly work on yourself. Right? You need to it's work. Spirituality, the occult, is work. It is not finding your twin flame, finding your soulmate, and suddenly everything makes sense and everything is beautiful. It is work. Every occultist that I know that makes money off of this now and helps others and heals others has put in years of work. Years. Meditation, cleanses, reading books, going to retreats, learning under, more advanced spiritualists. Like, it is work. It is not something that you kind of dip your feet in, have fun with tarot, maybe go to a Reiki healer, and suddenly you're an occultist and you're a master spiritualist. Like, it is work. So, I mean, what she said is very true. In the interview that she said, she's like, nothing against my friends that are into this, but there is a lot of doom and gloom in it. There's a lot of people that are into it and their life isn't getting better. They're struggling in every avenue of their life. There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of mental health that's gone unchecked. She is not wrong with that. That's why I say you need to ground. You need to learn yourself. You need to know yourself. Maybe you'll discover, you know what? I do struggle with depression. I struggle with this. Maybe medication isn't such a bad thing. Maybe going to therapy isn't such a bad thing. Like, you need to know yourself. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm just saying, like, you need to know yourself. It's not life on easy mode. And I think a lot of people end up going back to religion because, and I don't want to say religion doesn't force you to self-reflect, but it's more like, you go to church on Sunday, you're around people that are like-minded, you're singing your songs, you're saying peace be with you, all that stuff. And I think that that's beautiful. I truly do. And if that's what you feel called to, then do it. There's no right or wrong in this. But don't get into the occult and think that it's the Hollywood version of it and that you don't have to do any work and that you don't have to do any self-reflection, because you have to. It forces you to do that. That's why they say it is not a game. It is not something that you play around with. You need to know who you are. You need to remain grounded. I have psychic dreams, every once in a while, and I can look at my own dreams and understand what they mean. But some people get into this and they're not grounded. They don't know themselves. There are some people that said to me, they're like, oh, you're trying to do magic against me. You're cursing me. You're doing like just crazy stuff that they assumed I was doing, things that I don't even do. And I'm like, this person has issues. Like, and they did, but I didn't say that. I just said, you know what? I'm going to let this person think what they want. There's obviously a lot of issues here. But that's the thing, is when you're not grounded you're not getting the right messages in your third eye. You're running on fear. You're running on anxiety. There's a lot of things that are not healed within you. You're projecting a lot of things onto other people. Like, it truly can be very dangerous in that regard. I have 2 stories about things that happened when I decided to get into healing, energy healing. I'm going to be honest, I started off with demonology when I got into the occult, just because I was always taught it's wrong. So obviously I'm going to go where I'm told not to go. I experienced a lot of cool things, but for the most part, it didn't feel like it was what I was meant to do. I felt like I said in previous videos, spirit pushed me to read about chakras, read about healing, spirituality, and once I actually got into that, it was like everything shifted. It felt like I was doing what I was meant to do. And there was one time I went out for coffee with a friend of mine and I said, you know what? I really feel like this is what I'm meant to do. I feel like I'm meant to get into healing, energy work, chakras, crystals, all that. And that night when I went to bed, I had the scariest dream I've ever had in my life. I had a dream where all these men dressed in black were chasing me. I saw a taxi parked on the side of the road. I got into the back seat with these 2 old ladies. I told them, I'm like, these guys are chasing me. And they're like, oh, it's okay, sweetie. We'll protect you. Mind you, I've had a lot of crazy nightmares throughout my entire life, but nothing scared me as much as this. The car started driving. We got to a red light and the driver turned around and he looked at me. His eyes were completely black. And instead of a pupil, there was like thick white lines down each eye, like a thick white stripe down each eye. It terrified me so much, it pulled me out of my dream. I have never experienced that in my life. And like I said, I've had some pretty intense, crazy, dark, scary dreams. The next day, I was meditating because like I said, at this point, I started to get into meditating, clearing my own energy, chakras, all that stuff. I wasn't even in that meditation that long, probably 2 minutes in, and I felt something hit me in the middle of my head really hard, like somebody slapped me like this. Now, to someone who is not well seasoned in the occult would say, there's something after you, this is devil's work, get out of it. But I knew it had more so to do with things that were trying to scare me from going in the right direction versus something that was trying to push me versus taking it as a sign that I was going in the wrong direction. I took it as a sign I was going in the right direction because other weird things happened trying to scare me. And I was like, nope, I'm not listening to this. I know this is what I'm meant to do. I know I'm meant to get into healing, chakra work, all that beautiful stuff. And lo and behold, it did change my life. So, a lot of people would hear that, people that aren't that, like I said, aren't that well versed in the occult, and that would freak them out and they'd say, that's it, this isn't for me, I'm going back to religion, or I'm not doing anything at all. And like I said, there is no right or wrong answer, but I will always say, don't get involved into the occult and spirituality if you aren't putting in the work, because you will be tested and you need to put in the work. You need to stay grounded. What's that Malcolm X quote? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. This is something that you need to remain very grounded and very clear. Okay? So I hope my video was understandable. I always feel like I babble too much. This isn't to bash anyone. This isn't to bash religion. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. Do what feels right in your heart. If you feel like going to church on Sundays, go to church. If that's not your thing and you want to get into spirituality, just know that it does require work. It's not the cute aesthetic that you see online where it's just crystals and pentagrams and just love and light. You're going to have to see some dark. You're going to have to face some dark. That's just how it is with the occult. Okay? So I think that's it for this video. I love you guys so much. Take care.